get back.
Yeah, good.
The tea stuff. I wanted to talk to you about, like, what you were talking about your mom and like Romanian women being super independent,
Yeah.
being like, I mean, this is cultural shock for me because in India, and like, what was it?
Yeah, so I
Sorry.
mean,
Yeah.
I was raised in Romania and then moved to Iraq.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, because I was a kid, I didn't realize it was like such a big difference
Mm-hmm.
until I went to London and then India. So I experienced like the Indian culture in London and also in India, about women. Because like Romania and Iraq at that time, in Saddam's time, like women we saw are like mother, grandma, like aunties. They were doing like everything. They were like independent. They were like pillars of the house. They would work, cook. They can like repair stuff.
But in
paint.
Saddam Hussein's time, like in Iraq.
No, this is in Romania. What I saw, and then even in Iraq, because in Iraq he was like Saddam was a dictator,
Yeah.
but it was like a secular. So so he didn't like religion. They knew like this religion it can bring fanaticism.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't agree. So actually, women were like free in the schools and stuff. They could dress however they want.
Really?
Yeah. My teachers in Iraq, like they were modern dressed.
I
Like
used to.
short skirt and like short sleeves, whatever. They were like very modern.
Is it the case now as well, or no?
Probably not. No,
Because now there's religion for
yeah,
that.
because I don't know exactly, but what I heard the Iran influence, and they're like the Republic, and then all these other groups. So they because Saddam was like actively fighting against like religion's grasp,
Yeah.
which kind of oppresses women, by default, like Christianity, all the religion more or less they try to oppress women.
Hinduism, I don't think I've seen like religion coming out from Hinduism. Like, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, of course. Then the Mughal, like,
Yeah, Hinduism, no, but because in North
but
India,
the pure,
yeah,
like,
they
before.
they influence like the Indian culture. So that time they started like to oppress women, basically, more or less, like that.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, this was how I was raised, So I never asked like any questions. I just took it for granted. Like, yeah, women, they're like free, independent. They're like just another person.
Yeah.
No more, no less. No different than any, like, with their own desires, their own things. Their own person, and they can do whatever they can do it. By all means, they can study, work, go on the mountains, go on everywhere. Talk to whomever, with whomever.
Yeah.
And then I just live like that, and all my friends in Romania, like all my friends, which like gang, like people which high school, yeah, gang, like means like close friends, which were going on holidays, going like on trips. They were like cool, chill. We never had like any segregation of any kind, actually.
Yeah.
So then when I went in India, I was like, wait a minute, this is like different, I try like the same, I was going like, hello, this, talking, and I saw like the women, the girls, they were like wary, like they spoke, but they were like kind of, oh, why is he talking to me? What's going on? Why? I was like, oh, maybe I did something, maybe, I didn't realize, like, and then I started asking, like, the people. I said, oh, why is like this? And no, everyone was avoiding the question, no, it's like, we don't know, it's like from the colonies, from who knows what, it's like, nobody could give like a proper answer, And then I started to research more and more. I said, okay, why is this like people here, they are like so shy, conditioned, about clothing and stuff, like because it's like a tropical country, it's super hot, and like in Delhi it's like 40 degrees, people wearing like jeans, thick saris, like pants,
What do you want them to wear?
no, like short pants, short skirts, like something more light, like or tradition, like these cotton.
They do now.
Yeah. So without like too much like restriction or. Then when I learned more about the history, because I majored in history, so I started to research more about the history. I realized that like in ancient India, like it was like way more open, like the women had the same rights, they could own like properties, slaves, they could do like they said, they had no restrictions whatsoever, marry whomever, if they had the capacity or like the knowledge or the capacity, like they were like business women or whatever, they could do whatever, no judgment, no like kind of like the modern world in the West, today. So then I saw like when the Mughals came, they started abducting women, trying to like put them down, like basically they're not allowed that, they're not allowed.
Yeah.
So North India kind of like got into this culture of like segregation, to sort of like and for me was a shock, like I didn't realize it was like that. And then I started talking to people, like why is it like this, what's going on, why. And I realized they have like a lot of fear about it, and the society is pressuring the people to behave in that manner,
Because
and then
fear.
Yeah, the fear.
And segregation.
And then I realized also in other countries, like in Iran, and because remember I was in Iraq, which was a Muslim country, but it was not at all like that, so I never experienced. Back in the day. And then I realized actually this country like Saudi Arabia, like all Iran, which are like Muslim, republics, whatever, they like the religion is there, like in the like part of the law of the country.
Yeah.
That actually women, they have no rights, like they have very fewer rights, and they are like treated differently, and they are expected to do certain things, without like basically you want or you don't want, you're expected to do certain things, and you can't go out of those bounds, And I was like, what?
Was this the case during the communist time in Romania, like what you're saying, or?
No. I mean, so the thing is, what happened actually in communist, now traditional countries like traditional way of life, it comes from the Middle Ages, before communism, where like the church had like a stranglehold over like Europe for like 1,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So the church was like, they were in your family, like kind of like religion is like in the Muslims, and like even in Hindus, like through family, you have to do certain things, and you can only do it in this way or that way. So Christianity had like a stranglehold on like society. So it was like you were supposed to marry, do that, you could not be free, like they would look down upon like a women who are like just on their own, or like, But then what happened when communism came, because everyone had to work and they were like equal, so women got power because they had jobs, they were paid the same, more or less, like as men. And they had the same rights, like houses, whatever. So they did get married, but divorces started to increase, because the men that back then, they were like taught like from generation, because they like the women were abused. They said, oh, you have to be in the house, cook food, whatever. If I don't like, if the food is not hot, you get a beating, or if it's not hot enough, or some, because I was exposed also to this, like, how to say, like lower Romania, like the deep Romanian society, like the
deep trenches.
yeah, like the village mentality, some of the village, not of course not everyone, not everything. And then they have this empowerment, and they started to not like take these abuses, you know, they because like just walk away, you know. So society changed, you know. So because like this happened already like 30, 20, 30 years before I was born. So when I was born, like in the 80s, it was already established, like, you know, like women had rights, so they could, like, it was fairly free, like there was no, yeah, no difference, you know, you could do whatever, go whatever, do, marry, don't marry, have the same rights, wear whatever you want, whenever you like, of course, you know, within certain norms, but they were like free. So I was like born into that society, and it continues also in like the martial arts, like people, they're also like thinking universally. So I never ever had this idea that
Of
is like
segregation.
yeah, of segregation, never, like nowhere, you know. And I treated it as such, you know. I would talk the same to like a person, you know, like with the same way, you know, like what's up, hello, no restraint, no, like no, not no, like no feeling that oh it should be different or like in some other way, you know. I would just ask like, oh, what's the lesson, what's going on, where should I go, do you know anything about that? Or but in India I was like, oh, where is he talking? And
And we I mean, I can say about myself, we were segregated to the core. So we had like 4 rows, let's say. So
yeah,
one boy, like boys, then girls, then boys, then girls. We were segregated to the core. And so because this mentality started from the childhood, so the punishment, if someone does something, the punishment was to sit with a girl. That was the punishment
yeah,
in
yeah.
school.
So imagine the condition, you know, like to put you down, to segregate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, I think in Iraq and Romania, to be frank, I think it was like on purpose. They put like a girl and a boy.
Together.
Yeah, yeah, in one bench. We had like these benches,
Yeah.
like for 2 people.
Yeah.
And I think on purpose, if all possible, they would put like boy and girl just to not have actually this segregation.
The point is, mm, my high school, I did it from a small town, so it was different. But when I came to the big town to finish my higher education, it was not segregated. But again, there is segregated in like a subtle segregation.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
in college, we were free. In college, we were free, but still there is segregation. Like if you are a boy, like there's many families where like boy cannot go to a girl's house, or girls cannot go to a boy's house. Is it same in your Romania, or like you can just go anywhere?
no, you used to go anywhere. Like if somebody is like their parents is out, doesn't matter. Boy, girl, like just go there, hang out.
House party.
Yeah, yeah. Like if you were like you could hang around like with girls, boys, with like just girls, just you and like nobody would say anything. I mean, there was like you can just talk, hang. I mean, I had like many like girlfriends, you know, like but not like intimate and stuff like this. Just like friends, we like hang out all day, talk, like, and the thing is that the other like girls as well, they were thinking exactly the same, you know. They were like, yeah, it's just a person, you know.
One point
They never had the idea that oh, it's different. I should be careful. I don't know,
One point I
or
want to raise
something
here.
will happen, or like
You said right, like oh, like in Romania when you guys became equal, the women they just let go, and the divorce rate they got increased so much.
yeah,
In today's in India, I mean North India, I don't know about South, but in North India, if you say like oh, give them the power, give them education, give them this, give them that, the old people they will say like then they will like divorce you, they will like put you
exactly,
down, they will just like do this thing. Of course, there's negative side as well, like divorce, alimony, and stuff. But like they'll do so, they kind of fear that transition where they can become equal.
yeah. I mean, it's normal, you know. But of course, the law of India, I think I don't know if we discussed it here, but
sucks.
yeah, I mean, it's the marriage family law is like bad for it's the bad deal for everyone.
No, we got equality now. Men and women, we both got equality now. Law for both of us sucks.
Yeah, but it's not equal because
No, I'm saying it as sarcastic joke.
yeah,
Way,
yeah,
like,
no,
it's
it's like
bad. It's bad.
the marriage and stuff. They put too much attention on this, it's like still forcing people, oh, you have to. No, man, like it has to come when it comes, like it has to,
No,
because
but
if
you
there is
should
no,
get married by 30.
you should,
Have
no,
kids.
you should get.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's not wrong. It's very nice to be married and stuff, but it should be done in freedom, and also should continue in freedom as well. Not like, oh, you have to stay married because this is how it is. No, you stay married because it's like a beneficial for you, them, society, children and stuff, and because you enjoy it, not because you are forced by society or by the law, how is in India.
By the society, law. So society comes first.
Yeah, and
Law
then
comes second.
then the law, which basically, and yeah, I mean, some people like it, it's, of course, there are many different.
Majority of them likes. If there was just some, society would have changed. But many people like. There are still communities in India where, like, if you fell in love or something, they're gonna kill both of you, and it's not law and stuff. They're gonna kill and run away.
Yeah, I mean,
sad.
yeah, it's quite primitive, I should say, stifles evolution, but
Primitive controversy.
yeah. So the thing is, like, for example, in like when I saw it, I mean, this has a detrimental effect on society because it cannot progress economically. You're like undermining half of your population. So, for example, how I experience, like, my mom, uncles, aunties, even friends, in Romania and stuff, they don't have like, oh, we can't do that, or like there's something to do, like paperwork or job or something. They don't think like, oh, how should I do it? It's already done. It's already done. My mom was not like, oh, can I? No, it was already done. Like work, business, whatever. Like it was already like no contemplation. Oh, should I not? And all my friends are like, oh, open a cafe. Like it's already done. It's like on Facebook. It's like done. Business already done. Now if I call them like, I'm not. Oh, can I come? Or I'm coming. Like we'll go. Yeah. It's done. It's not like wait a minute, let's ask permission, let's like see children. No, it's like done. Only if there is like actual, they booked something or like
I should start a podcast, I should ask you, and you're like, yeah, done.
yeah, it's done. It's like no, they do, and then they're like, oh, I did this. I
think we have a lot of insecurities as well. What will people think of us?
Exactly,
like we are putting ourselves in front of cameras, so what will people think?
This is the thing, yeah, because
this always runs in the back of my mind.
This creates fear, when you put somebody like this, like you have to, because the problem is about this type of society, and even, I mean, in general in the world, that people have to own the person, like you marry, you own them, especially for women, it's like you own them. You, I don't know, did something and you got like a trophy or something. It's like you own. It's like a contract, So society enforces that, It's not like a free person. It's like, oh, they are part of that family and that's it, Like they have influence, power, and they must do to please that family or whatever and so on. So of course I'm not saying it's wrong, to like have children, to grandchildren and stuff. But the thing is, it shouldn't be forced, That's my issue. And because it's forced, it creates fear and insecurity, and this is why it's difficult to talk, like, and they are raised like this. Oh, this is like somebody's gonna do me harm, or I don't know, dominate or something, because they are expected to be dominated by men or something.
I see Indians here. I see like we tend to get this like.
But when you like are taught that you are like they're people, you talk and stuff, then you don't expect like the worst, and then you don't get actually the worst in very rare cases, because most people react like a mirror, so if you go like nice, just smiling and stuff, most likely the other person will smile back. 100%. If you go like, oh, destroyed, fear, they're like, man, what's going on? Is something happening, the other person will be distressed as well, you know, like it's
You were telling me about the story where like you went into a bunch of people of your father's side or something.
yeah. So
What was
I was like recently married, you know. So my wife is like, I was always like the idea that freedom comes first, you know, like it's an individual. Women, men or women, they are like people. They have their own desires, ideas, way of life, you know, and they should pursue or whatever, you know, as long as they keep their balance or not, it's their life, you know, in the end, you know.
Yeah.
So my wife was like free. I mean, do whatever, go anywhere, do whatever you want, you know, like no. So my dad's friend, you know, my dad is like
Hardcore
Iraqi, you know,
Muslim.
yeah, and Muslim and stuff. So they are like from these warrior clans and stuff. So we were with his friends, you know, like at one table, like older, you know, like, and they were making fun. They said, "Oh, this Omar, you know, he's like this, talented or whatever, smart, and then, but look, his wife is making a fool of him. She's going everywhere, taking photos, doing this. He even doesn't know where is she now and stuff." And and they were making fun, you know, of me. Like I was there, and they were making fun of him because they're also elder than me, so
They can.
they can. And then they were like, what is this when you're not gonna do something about it? We'll get you like another wife, like a proper wife from like, because in Islam you're allowed like two, you know, or four.
Four wives.
Four wives. So it's like, yeah, we'll get you like some other, you know, to be like a proper, and this one, you know, like live, it should be like this, you know. And then I told them like, look, you guys here, you know, like all warriors supposed to be fearless, you know, and they are in a way fearless, you know. These people are like stubborn, and they like, you know, they have like this type of, they don't fear death, you know, that much. So I said, you people here are afraid of like your wives. That I said, what can happen, you know? He said, no, she's gonna leave you, take the house, take the kids. I said, yeah, so what? It's, if you are like a true warrior, you know, like who are like fearless, you have full confidence in yourself, and that confidence comes from the confidence in God or the divine power. So even if they go, they cheat or whatever on you, they take your house, children, so what? You are still the same, you know, fearless, you know. You go ahead, you build another, do whatever, you know. What kind of warrior are you if you are like afraid of your wife, you know, that she's going to leave or don't do something for you or whatever, you know. And nobody after that, I told them like, nobody said a word, you know, like after that. But they never invited me again, you know, after like at the table. Because they couldn't say anything, you know, like I said, like this is the principle of like, if you are truly fearless, how can you fear your family, you know?
Yeah, but if I mean segregation starts from like that level.
Yeah, because they teach you that you own, you know, this is what they teach you, that you own, and you have to educate the person like some sort, and it's both ways actually, you know, because in the Eastern culture or so, they teach you, I mean, in any, they said, okay, how to handle the man, how to handle the women. Of course, there are some good things, you know, to know, like how to, means to accommodate, or to tools, you know, to be nice or to serve the other person, you know, like about the behavior. So that's like good things, but they are going into a thing that you like own the person, and you have to manage it, you know, like how you manage like when you get like a horse or a dog, you know, you like, you have to give it food, treat it, I mean, I don't know, like this raise, you know, it's kind of like this, like you own, and you have to, if something happens, it's your responsibility, you know, man, it's a person, they can do it. Where is my, they ran away, okay, so yeah, I mean, I'm still here, you know, like, what do you want from me? What did I do? You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, this is why, yeah, this is like with,
I
but
think we are segregated on gender level, race level, then caste level, then language. We are segregated to the core, like Indians. We are,
yeah, I mean
and
it's
religion is the biggest thing.
now I'm
Like the
not,
Kashmir thing, which
of
happened.
course, yeah. So I'm not saying people will say like, oh, you are like, you want everyone to be the same. No, no, everyone is different, but enjoy the difference, not like force it like, oh, you have to do that, you have to do, like nature, of course there are different plants grow in deserts and mountains and air. It doesn't mean that plant has to grow in the desert where it's a mountain plant. It will not grow.
Mm.
But it shouldn't mean that like everyone should be desert plant, everyone should be like that by force. Let everyone be as they are, and enjoy the difference. Don't put them into categories, that it has to be like that, like this, like that. This is especially for humans, which are like so complex and they can manifest many facets.
Yeah,
So this, yeah, and it basically stifles like economic growth, social growth, and all these things. It brings like, it doesn't allow for evolution because it's fear. When you have fear, you take less steps basically. So then less stuff, less things are happening. So
something very new to me was when I came to London. I always see a fire truck or ambulance or police when they are like in, like when they're chasing someone or when they're like in, like they want to reach somewhere. Most of the cases there was female drivers,
mm-hmm.
and that was a culture shock for me. In India, I've never seen a female driver like in these, and I was like, and then I read like why they hire female drivers because the articulation in pressure situation is much higher than men, and this and that. So yeah, and they're pretty good at what they do. Like very,
Exactly, yeah, because you get training if you're good. Yeah, this was like in ancient India, it was like this.
yeah.
Women had the right to apply for any kind of job, from minister to hunter to like soldier, general, whatever. There was no limit. If you're good at it, hire. You will be that. And that's it, no question I ask, and in all this actually, many
I think the North India
societies.
segregation came from Muslims,
Yeah, of course,
Mughals,
yeah.
and then it became worse in English time. But South India's, but North India, I think it came from like the segregation
Yeah,
came
I mean, people, I don't know, like societies have been trying to put down women since the Roman times, like Roman Empire, even during the Republic, because they tried to put women down, then like,
they create segregation.
yeah, like for example, these Muslims actually in Islam, they don't say specifically about women and stuff that they're like, but because these tribes, Arabic tribes, they were like fighting each other like for 4,000 years. So they valued men because they were like warriors, and the women were like trophies basically.
In Arabics,
Yeah, but that was way before Islam actually it happened. So when the Islam came, they're like, they already, their society was persecuting like women in a way.
I've seen pictures of Afghanistan and Iran in 70s where you had like it looks like a modern picture of
Yeah,
then
because the government went out of its way to stifle religion. Like basically, man, religion is private. Don't enter into the state. Like religion.
mm,
So then, yeah, people could have that type of lifestyle. But when religion takes like center stage, like Europe, Middle Ages, terrible times, then the Muslim world and stuff again, like very slow economic growth, like unrest and stuff like that. Yeah, it's also down to that. And whoever bets on this like religious stuff, it won't turn very good.
yeah.
And they do it on the political level. Uh, they do it because of. I mean, there is an advantage for a nation because it brings people together. They bound by that religion. but it's like a double-edged sword because yeah, you might get the people on board, but also growth will be, you know, stopped or slowed down because uh, people are gonna be mired in that like dogma.
Yeah. So you went on like streets of Delhi talking to like females?
Yeah, yeah, you didn't know. I mean, I was talking to everyone, you know, all my
And
people I know.
they were like, what's wrong
No,
with
no,
this
no.
guy?
They did talk, you know. They talk, but they were like wary, you know, like oh why. I mean, of course they understood like I'm a foreigner and stuff. So, but then I was like, oh wait a second, this is like a.
Did I do something wrong or something?
Yeah, yeah. I said they were like running away from me. I was like, what's going on? Did I do? Did I have something? What did I say something wrong? You know, like I said, what's going on? Yeah, and they like, and for me, I was a shock because
I think like Delhi is pretty unsafe, and I mean, you know it, right? Like Delhi is pretty unsafe for.
Yeah, but no, this is like it happened in a way also in the UK. You know, I talked to some Indian like.
Yeah, I mean
they were the same. You know, like I was like, oh, what's? I was like, oh, why is he talking? You know, they were like so uncomfortable, and I was like, wow, what's going on? Did I say something? They don't like me. What happened? What's you know like.
Yeah. Anyways.
But you know, society. I mean, I'm really hoping for the new generation. You know, like not to, because the thing is, okay, if you choose this type of lifestyle, it's fine. You know, like whatever, segregated religion. You know, but to allow for everyone to live. You know, like whatever, however they want. You know, this is the point. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm hoping the
Hopefully
new generation will be like will get out of this dogma and like the mire of religious dogma all over the world.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we can talk about potential solutions in the next part. Okay.
Yeah.
It was nice having tea with you.
Yeah.